Hey everyone, welcome to my next video. Today we're doing a dish inspired by MasterChef Canada. It's a vegan bone marrow. So it's basically using potatoes and mushrooms to mimic the texture and the look of bone marrow. You're gonna need some beets, a sweet potato, a couple of potatoes, button mushrooms or any kind of mushrooms you really have, onion and garlic roasted, some nutritional yeast, walnuts, and now we're going to show you how to roast the garlic and onion. I'm just peeled the skin off the garlic and cut the top off the onion, and I'm just putting a little bit of olive oil and salt in, and I didn't have any aluminum foil, so I'm using parchment paper. It kind of worked the same, but it didn't really hold the heat in, so I just had to roast it for a little bit longer. I roasted it for 15 minutes, but probably could have done like 25. And I realized I didn't have a vegetable peeler, so this took me quite a while to trim the skin off. You can leave the skin on, but I thought it would look more like aesthetically pleasing with the skin off. And I'm just putting down a reusable baking liner. Great way to save on parchment paper. And I'm just coating the sweet potato in a little bit of olive oil and salt. And I'm going to roast that at 425 for around 15 minutes or so. Same time I'm roasting the garlic and onion pretty much. And then again, I didn't have a peeler, so it took a little bit to peel these beets. But the beets are for beet puree, which is just like a garnish. I'm just boiling the beets for about 15 minutes until they're super soft, and then I blend them up into a puree. Pretty simple. And now I'm just cutting the button mushrooms for the bone marrow filling. I used about 3/4 of that box that I showed you guys. And before we blend it up, we're just gonna cook the mushrooms till they're a little bit brown. The onions and garlic are already cooked, but I just put them in the pan anyways. Because why not? Roast away, cook away. Just get a little bit of color on the mushrooms. Cook them for about 5 minutes on like a pretty high heat. Now we're blitzing everything up. Got the mushroom mixture in there. And then I kind of didn't really measure anything else, but probably about a tablespoon and a half of nutritional yeast. And then we're going in with the walnuts, probably a tablespoon of that. And some salt and pepper, like a pinch of salt and a couple cranks on the old pepper mill there. And then blitz that up in my crappy blender. And now again, I don't have a peeler, so I have to trim it with a paring knife. I'm just peeling the potato back. You can leave the skin on again, but I think it looks more visually like a bone. Like this is what the bone is gonna look like on the dish. So I'm just trying to get it as round as possible. And then I started using a paring knife, but I figured a back of a spoon would work better to kind of carve the potato out, to hollow it out, like the inside of a bone would be. And this one I cut in half just to make a little bit more visually like appealing on the dish. It's kind of like a bone cut down the middle. I did 2 of those and 2 of like the tall guys. Seemed to work pretty good. And now we're gonna confit the potatoes. So that means you just cook potatoes in a little bit of oil and butter. I use the Basil vegan butter. And that way, if you do the combination of the two, the olive oil won't burn. So you gotta make sure you have a really hot pan. And that way the potatoes won't stick. So my pan actually wasn't hot enough, so I had to shake the pan to stop it from sticking. I'm just seasoning it with salt and pepper. And I'd say cook them for about 5 minutes on one side. You want the side down to be like golden brown, like you'll see in a second here. Just like that. And then I'm gonna flip the other ones, and then I'm going to, at this point I've already added the butter in, and I'm going to add the vegetable stock, just kind of halfway up the potatoes. You don't want to fully submerge the potatoes, but just like that. And at this point, you put them in the oven at around 400 for 12 to 15 minutes. I did it closer to 15 because some of my potatoes were a little bit bigger. And they're done. Now we're going to plate it up. So that's the beet puree on the bottom there. And then just garnishing with those cubed sweet potatoes. And then we're going in with the potato bones. Just kind of any way you want. And then I just sliced some beets down the middle because I thought it would look a little bit nicer. And now I'm filling it, the potatoes with the mushroom mixture, just flattening that out to look better. Using just the back of a knife. You could use like any flat surface really. And then I'm just garnishing it with some really limp looking arugula. I wish I had some fresher stuff, but that's all we got. And yeah guys, pretty easy recipe here. It looks really fancy, but it didn't really take that long because you can kind of roast everything at the same time. And I hope you guys enjoy. And yeah, that's the video for today guys. I hope you liked it. Hope you tricked all your meat-eating friends that love bone marrow and love those fancy meat restaurants that they should just try something like this. No animals were harmed. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for my next video. Thanks for watching.